My parents stole my $60,000 college fund for my brother's wedding. But later, they had to ask me to help them. I am 21 years old. My family got bad very fast. In just a few months, things got really bad. Now I can see the bad signs. But when I was in it, I did not see them. It all began after I finished high school. I was happy to start school in the fall. I chose a school near my house. School costs a lot of money. I thought living at home was a good idea. I saved money from my job at a car shop. I worked on cars there. I have always liked cars. I thought my mom and dad would help me a little. Then I could do it. But they did not help. One night in July, my mom and dad talked to me at the table. I thought they would say they were proud of me. But they did not. My mom said, "You are a grown-up now. Your dad, and I think you need to care for yourself." My dad said yes. "We will not pay for your school. We will not pay for classes or books or gas for your car. It's not because we don't want to. It's because you need to learn that money is important." I just sat there and did not know what to say. I thought it was a joke. But they were not joking. Then my dad said more. He is usually quiet. He said, "If you want to live here, you must pay rent. You must buy your own food too. This is fair." Fair. I sat in the same kitchen. They still had marks on the wall to show how tall I was when I was little. I still slept in my old room. My toy cars from when I was 12 were on the shelves. Now they wanted me to pay rent. Let me tell you about my mom and dad. They have enough money. My mom teaches English at a school. My dad works with numbers at a job. They live in a nice house with 3 rooms. They have enough money for what they need. But they don't have a lot extra. They did not need me to pay rent. They just wanted to teach me a lesson. They never taught this lesson to my brother Tyler. My brother Tyler is 25. He is the favorite child in our family. He was a big football star in school. He is good-looking and nice to talk to. Everyone likes Tyler. My mom and dad love him most. They do not make him follow the same rules as me. But Tyler is not good at grown-up things. He finished school. My mom and dad paid for all of it. Now he has had 6 jobs. He does not keep a job for long. He says his boss is mean or the job is not good enough. He makes up reasons to quit. But he lives at home with my parents. He does not pay rent. He stays there when he does not have his own place. My mom and dad give him money. They buy him new phones. They give him money for dates with his girlfriend Melissa. She is 24. I should have said no that night. I should have told them it was not fair. I should have asked why Tyler gets everything and I have to pay rent. But I did not want to fight. I did not want to be hard to deal with. So I just said yes. I said I would find a way. And I did find a way. But it was very hard for me. The next few weeks were hard. I was scared and tried to add up all my costs. The rent was not too bad. They said I must pay $400 each month. That is less than a real place would cost. But school costs money. Books cost money. Gas for my car costs money. Food costs money. My phone costs money. Car insurance costs money. All of it adds up fast. I worked more hours at the car shop. The boss is a good man. He knew I needed money for school. He let me work extra hours when he could. I changed oil in cars. I fixed tires. I fixed brakes. I did simple work. It helped me pay my bills. Just a little bit. I thought about moving out many times. I even looked at places with a friend who was going to my school. But places to live cost too much money. The cheapest place we found was $1,200 each month. That did not include lights and water. Even if I had a roommate, I could not pay for a place in school too. So I made a plan with myself. I would stay at home and deal with it. I would not cause trouble. I would save all the money I could. When I had enough money, I would leave. That thought helped me through all the bad times. I knew that one day I would be free from them. Living at home became very bad. My mom and dad always asked for rent. They sent me texts 3 days before it was due. I was never late with rent. But my mom put notes on my door. The notes said, "Rent due Friday." It was like I could forget that rent took all my money. And they still treated Tyler like he was perfect. One time, Tyler used all his credit card money. He bought Melissa a nice necklace for their day together. He also bought expensive clothes for himself. My mom and dad did not tell him to be better with money. They just paid his bill for him. They paid $3,000 for him. That same week, I asked if they could help me buy my math book. It cost $180. My mom said, "Jake, you need to learn to use your money better. Tyler has to pay for different things than you." Different things? What things? The cost of being the favorite child. Tyler made things worse. He is not a bad person. He just does not see how good he has it. And he can be mean. He always talks about the things my mom and dad buy him. He does not see that I have a hard time. One night, I came home from work. I worked for 12 hours. I was very tired. I had oil and sweat on me. Tyler was lying on the couch. He was playing a game on a new PS5. He said, "Look at this. Mom and Dad bought this for me yesterday. The game looks so good. You should get one." I just looked at him. I thought about how I worked for 12 hours under cars. I worked to make money for one school book. I said, maybe I can get one when I don't have to pay rent. He just went back to his game. He did not understand what I meant. That is how Tyler is. He does not see how good he has it. He does not see how hard things are for other people. People say school is the best time of your life. They say you have fun. You go to parties. You make friends. You find out who you are. But for me, school was just about staying alive. My days were very hard. I woke up at 6 in the morning. I left home at 7. I went to class until noon. Then I went to work until 8 or 9 at night. I came home and ate fast. I tried to do my homework. I did my homework until I could not keep my eyes open. Then I slept for a few hours. Then I did it all again. Weekends were the same. I did homework I did not finish during the week. I worked more at the car shop. I never went to parties. I never joined school groups. I never did fun things like other students. I just worked and studied. I studied and worked. My job at the car shop was okay most days. I liked working with my hands. I was good at it. The boss saw I was good with old cars. He started to teach me more things. But the work was hard on my body. I always bent over car motors. I had to get under cars. I had to lift heavy parts. My back hurt all the time. My hands always had oil on them. I could not wash it all off. Then I went home. I tried to do my hard math homework. I tried to do my money homework. But my eyes could not stay open. Some nights I fell asleep at my desk. I woke up when my alarm made noise the next morning. My mom and dad saw all of this. They saw me come home late at night. I was tired and dirty. They saw my school books. They knew I worked very hard. And they said, "Don't forget rent is due on Friday." Or they said, "The light bill is high. Do you leave your lights on?" But Tyler had no problems. He got jobs that lasted a few months. He worked at the mall. He worked at a bar. He sold phones. Then he quit for no good reason. But he always had money. He had money to go out with friends. He had money to buy things for Melissa. I would come home from a hard day of work. I would see him playing games in the middle of the day. My mom would ask him what he wanted for dinner. It was so different. It was almost funny. Money stress was very bad. I worked many hours. But I never had money. Some weeks I looked at my bank. I had $37.42. I did not know how I would live until my next payday. One bad month. I knew I could not pay rent and my car bill. I did not want to ask, but I did. I asked my mom if she could buy my food for 1 week. She looked at me like I asked for something very bad. She said, "Jake, we are already helping you. We let you live here." Let me live here? I paid to live there. It was my home too. She thought I was a problem. She thought Tyler was good. I did not understand how she could think that. I went to my room that night. I thought about quitting school. Why should I work so hard for school when things were so unfair? But if I quit, they would be right. They would say I could not do it. They would say I needed help like Tyler. So I kept going. I finished the school term. My grades were okay, but not great. Every night when I went to bed, I told myself, this will not last forever. One day I will be free. I just need to stay alive until then. Things got stranger when Tyler said he would marry Melissa. They dated for 2 years. Now they planned a big wedding. They acted like they were kings and queens. Melissa always wanted a big wedding. Even before Tyler asked her to marry him. She put pictures of weddings online. She made lists of things she wanted for her wedding. Now it was real. She wanted a wedding like in fairy tales. She wanted everything to be perfect. And who would pay for all this? You know who. I saw my mom and dad and Tyler at the table. They looked at places to have the wedding online. They looked at food for the wedding. My mom was always on the phone. She talked to people who work at weddings. She talked about flowers and lights. She planned like it was a big party for a president. One night, I heard them talk about money for the wedding. Tyler was worried about paying for something. My mom said, "Don't worry about money, dear. Dad and I will make it work. This is your special day." That same week, my car needed oil. I had no money. I could not pay $50 to do it myself. I asked if they could give me money for 1 week. My dad said, "We don't have much money now, Jake. You need to plan better for things like this." They had no money for a $50 loan, but they had money for the wedding place. A few days later, Tyler came home. He was very happy. He went to see the wedding place with my mom and Melissa. It was a nice club with pretty grounds and a big room. He showed me pictures on his phone. I saw lights and nice floors and a big water thing. He said, "This is great, right? We got the place for October." I looked at the pictures. I tried not to show how I felt. I said, "It looks expensive. How can you pay for this?" I didn't know selling phones came with a wedding planner. Tyler laughed and took his phone. He said, "Mom and Dad are helping. They said every man should have his dream wedding. Every man should have his dream wedding. But not every son should get help with school." It was so unfair. It made my head hurt. The wedding got crazier as months passed. Melissa wanted everything to be the best. She wanted a dress from a top designer. She wanted fancy food with 5 parts. She wanted free drinks. She wanted special drinks. She wanted a picture place. She wanted a band that plays music. She wanted everything. I knew she only wanted Tyler for his money. But I did not say anything. My parents paid for everything. They did not ask questions. Tyler spent more time at home. He sat with my mom at the table. They looked at lists of people to invite. They looked at wedding websites. I tried to study at the other end of the table. It was like living in a strange world. My brother got good things for doing nothing. I got bad things for trying to make my life better. One night, I was getting food in the kitchen. I heard my dad and Tyler talking in the living room. They talked about where to go after the wedding. My dad said, "The place in Cancun looks nice. It costs more than we planned. But it is only a few thousand more." A few thousand more? Just like that? Where did they get all this money? My mom and dad made good money. But not that much money. If they had extra money, why did I eat cheap food 4 nights a week? Why did I do the dirty oil change jobs that no one wanted? I did that to pay for my lights. I went to my room that night. I sat on my bed. I tried to understand it all. The more I thought, the more mad I got. I did what my parents said I should do. I was responsible. I worked hard. I paid my own way. But I could barely stay alive. Tyler got everything for free. Why? Because he was born first? Because he was the favorite? It made no sense. There had to be something I did not know. There had to be more to the story. I did not know that I would soon learn the truth. And the truth was worse than I could think. I was angry for almost 2 years. I never told anyone. Why would I? My friends had their own school problems. Talking to my parents was like talking to a wall. They showed me what was important to them. And it was not me. But one night, I had a very bad week. I worked for 60 hours at the car shop. I was also very sick. I came home. I saw that my mom and dad bought Tyler and Melissa the same nice watches for a gift. I could not take it anymore. I waited until I was alone. Then I called my Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe is my dad's dad. He is the best man I know. He had a shop where he fixed old cars for 40 years. Then he stopped working. When I was young, I went to his shop every weekend. He taught me how to fix car parts. He taught me how to mix paint colors. He taught me how to make old cars look new again. He was always patient with me. He never got mad when I asked many questions. He never got mad when I made a mistake. He never said I was bad. He never told me to be someone else. He let me be me. We did not talk much after he stopped working. He and my grandma traveled in their old car. They went to parks and car shows. They just came back to their house. They wanted to be with family more. I should have called him earlier. But I did not want to give him my problems. He was having fun in his retirement. He did things he could not do when he worked. But that night, I could not keep it in anymore. I needed someone to listen to me. When he answered the phone, I felt good for the first time in a long time. He said, "Hey kid, we have not talked in a long time. What is new?" And I told him everything. I told him how I worked very hard. I told him my parents made me pay rent. I told him they would not help me with school, but they paid for Tyler's big wedding. I told him how they made me feel like a problem, but they treated Tyler like he was perfect. I told him I could not pay to fix my car. I told him I had to buy used books with missing pages. I told him some nights I was hungry because I had no money for food. He listened to me. When I talked about the wedding costs, the trip to Cancun, the dress for Melissa, he made a strange sound. It was like he just learned something important. He said, "Jake, did your parents use the money I gave them for your school?" I stopped talking. I said, "What money?" There was a long quiet time on the phone. Then my grandpa talked again. His voice was different. It was not angry, but it was sharp. I had not heard that voice before. He said, "When you were 14, I put away $60,000 for your school. I gave it to your parents. They were supposed to put it in a special account for you. It was supposed to pay for your school and things you need. Are you telling me they never told you about this money?" I felt like someone hit me in the stomach. The world felt strange for a second. My brain tried to understand what I heard. I said, "What?" They never said anything. I spoke very quietly. I said, "Not one word. I paid for everything myself. All of it. I worked myself almost dead to pay for school while they. I could not finish talking. I felt too hurt. My grandpa sighed. He said, Jake, that money was for you. I gave it to them because I wanted you to have a good start in life. I did not want you to have a hard time in school like I did. If I knew they were doing this. It took me a minute to understand what he said. All this time, they told me they had no money for my school. They said I needed to learn to be on my own. They said I needed to learn that money is important. But now I found out they had $60,000 for my school. They never told me about it. $60,000 would have paid for all my school. It would have paid for my books. It would have paid for my supplies. It would have paid for me to go to a bigger school later. I could have focused on school. I could have had a normal school life. Not this hard work all the time. My grandpa said, they lied to me. They lied to you. That money was yours. Not theirs. Not Tyler's. It was yours. I could not talk. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me wanted to break things. But I mostly felt nothing. I asked, what do you think they did with the money? I could barely say the words. My grandpa said, I don't know, but I will find out. And Jake, this is not just wrong. It might be against the law. That money was in a special school account with your name on it. If they took it for other things, if they took a little at a time and said it was for emergencies, that is bad. Let me just say I have a friend who is a very good lawyer. My grandpa was always relaxed and easy, but now he sounded ready to fight. He said, Jake, you are not alone in this anymore. I will take care of it. You just focus on your school now. Okay. When he said that, I felt something inside me break. For years, I carried everything by myself. I thought no one cared. I thought no one saw. But now someone was on my side. Someone believed me. Someone was going to fight for me. That night, I could not sleep. My mind kept thinking about all the times I asked for a little help. Help with a book. Help with food for a week. They said no. All the times my mom said I needed to use my money better. But they bought Tyler a new game machine. And all this time, they had $60,000 that could have helped me. The more I thought, the more I got mad. But under the anger, I felt something else. A little bit of hope. For the first time in years, I was not fighting alone. My grandpa was on my side. And it sounded like he would not give up. Things were finally going to change. For days after I called my grandpa, he called me. I was working at the car shop. I went outside to answer. He said, I looked into this, Jake. I found out your mom took money from your school fund for 3 years. At first, she took small amounts. A few $100s here and there. She always said it was for family emergencies. Then she took bigger amounts when Tyler and Melissa got engaged. I am coming to your house tonight to talk to your parents. I want you to be there too. My stomach felt bad. I said, I don't know, Grandpa. He said, you need to be there, son. This is your future they took. I said yes. But the thought of talking to them made me feel sick. I finished my work day. My mind thought about all the ways it could go. None of them seemed good. That night, my grandpa came to our house at 7 o'clock. I met him outside. We walked to the door together. He squeezed my shoulder to make me feel better. Then he rang the bell. My mom opened the door. Her face looked confused. Then she looked worried when she saw us both. She said, Jake, what is happening? My grandpa said, we need to talk. About Jake's school money. His voice was cold. I had never heard him sound like that. My mom's face turned white fast. She said, I don't know what you're talking about. My grandpa said, stop it, Linda. I saw the bank papers. My dad came behind her. He looked at us. He looked more and more scared. He said, Dad, what is this about? My grandpa said, let us in, Robert. Unless you want to talk on the front porch where your neighbors can hear. They let us in the living room. Tyler was lying on the couch. He played a game on his phone. He barely looked up when we came in. My grandpa said, turn that off. This is about you too. Tyler rolled his eyes. But he put his phone down. He said, what is the big deal? My grandpa took out a folder. He put it on the table. He said, the big deal is that your parents have been taking your brother's money for years. That's $60,000 I gave them when Jake was 14. That money was for his school. They used it for your wedding. They used it to help you when you had problems. Tyler looked confused. Then he looked at our parents. He said, what is he talking about? My dad looked uncomfortable. He said, Dad, you don't understand. We had to pay for things. My grandpa said, don't give me that, Robert. I have all the papers here. Family emergency? That is not true. Did you need to buy Tyler a PlayStation 5? Was that an emergency? Did you need to pay for the wedding place? Was that an emergency? What about the trip to Cancun you planned? I looked at my parents. I waited for them to say it was not true. I waited for them to explain. But they just sat there. They looked very guilty. I asked, is it true? You had money for my school this whole time? I have been working myself to death. I took out loans for school. My mom could not look at me. My dad just looked at the floor. My grandpa said, answer him. My dad finally looked up. He said, we were going to pay it back. Tyler needed help with the wedding. My grandpa said, and what about what Jake needed? He has been working himself to death. You make him pay rent in his own home. My mom finally spoke. She said, it is not that simple. Tyler is not as independent as Jake. He needs more help. I could not believe what I heard. So because I am responsible, I get in trouble? And Tyler gets rewarded for being a mess? Tyler stood up from the couch. He said, hey, be nice. Not everyone wants to waste their life working on cars. You grease monkey. I said, better than being a leech. My grandpa stopped us. His voice was strong. He said, here is what will happen. You will pay back all the $60,000 in 30 days. If you don't, I will cut you out of my will. I will also take you to court for money fraud. That money was in a special school account with Jake's name on it. What you did is against the law. My mom said, you wouldn't do that. That means we have to cancel the wedding. We don't have that money. My grandpa said, try me. I already talked to my lawyer. Those times you took money and said it was for emergencies? That was to avoid paying extra fees. That is fraud, Linda. You should know better. You are a teacher. You should be a good example. Tyler looked scared. He stood up from the couch. He said, wait, what? Cancel my wedding? You can't be serious. Melissa will be very angry. We already sent the invitations. The room was quiet for a moment. Then my dad stood up. His face was red with anger. He turned to me. He said, this is your fault. You talked to your grandfather behind our backs. You should have talked to us like a man. I said, I tried to talk to you for years. Every time I asked for help with school, you said no. You told me to be responsible. You told me to stand on my own feet. But all this time, you used my money to give him things. My dad yelled, we are your parents. We decide what is best for this family. Not you. Not him. He pointed at my grandpa. I laughed. I said, you mean best for Tyler? Then my dad got very angry. He hit me hard across the face. The sound was loud like a gun. Everyone stopped moving. My cheek hurt. But I was more angry inside. I stood still. I looked at him. I wanted him to try to hit me again. My grandpa got between us. His body was tight. He looked ready to hit my dad. He said, you just made a big mistake, Robert. His voice was very quiet. My mom was crying now. She cried small cries. I felt nothing. Tyler was still on the couch. He smiled. He liked seeing me get in trouble. That smile showed me who he cared about. My grandpa said, Jake is coming home with me tonight. And you have 30 days to pay back the money. All of it. I did not wait for them to answer. I went to my room. I got a bag. I put clothes in it. I put my computer in it. I put a few other things I needed. I could get my other things later. Right now, I needed to leave that house. I did not want to do something I would be sorry for. I came back to the living room with my bag. My dad was in the kitchen. I heard him closing doors hard. My mom was still crying on the couch. Tyler stood in the hall. He blocked my way. He said, good job ruining everything. You always make everything about you, don't you? I just pushed past him. I said, enjoy your backyard wedding. My grandpa waited for me at the door. He said, are you ready, son? I nodded. I did not trust myself to talk. We walked to his truck. I heard my mom calling my name, but I did not look back. I could not. If I did, I might have lost control. When we got to his house, my grandpa showed me to the extra room. It was a simple room with a nice bed. The window looked at his garage. He kept his favorite car projects there. It felt more like home than my parents' house ever felt. That night, I slept better than I had in years. Even with all the bad things happening. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe. I felt protected. I felt like I was not fighting the world alone anymore. After that day, my parents' wedding plans fell apart. They acted like nothing was wrong. But my grandpa was serious. When they knew he was not joking about legal trouble, they got scared. Everything went bad 1 week before the wedding. Suddenly, the nice wedding place was too expensive. The fancy food had to be simpler. The trip to Cancun was canceled. Tyler was very upset. Then he called me. I almost did not answer. But I wanted to hear what he would say. He said, are you happy now? You ruined everything. Mom and Dad just told me they have to cancel the place, the food, almost everything for the wedding. I said, not my fault. They stole my money to pay for your wedding. He said, look, bro, I did not know about any school money. I swear to God, if I knew they used your money, I would have said something. I thought, yeah, right. He knew all along. If not, he was the one who told them to do it. He is not that stupid. He said, the wedding is next week. Man, Melissa is very upset. Her family is flying here from Chicago. Her grandparents bought tickets they cannot get back. Now he was almost begging. He said, can't you let them pay Grandpa back later? Please, I will owe you a lot. It was amazing how brave he was. I said coldly, not my problem. You want a wedding? Fine. You get a party in the backyard with a small speaker. If Mom and Dad pay back all $60,000, I will pay for something simple myself. But it will be my idea, not theirs. He got very angry. He yelled about how I ruined the most important day of his life. He said Melissa's family would think they were poor. He said I was just jealous because he was happy and I was not. I said, are you done? When he stopped to breathe. He said, fuck you, and hung up. And just like that, the wedding did not happen. At least not the fancy one they planned. Melissa was very angry when she found out they would have a simple wedding in the backyard. She said she would not marry him. She told all her friends about her perfect wedding. She did not want to get married in a backyard with a cake from a store. She broke up with Tyler 3 days before the wedding. Most people who were invited did not come. Tyler was very angry. He blamed me for everything. He said I ruined his life because I was small and jealous. But I was doing well at my grandpa's place. He let me help in his garage. He still fixed old cars for fun. Working on those beautiful old cars felt good. It was better than fixing regular cars like I did before. He also taught me more about fixing cars. He taught me how to match paint colors. He taught me how to fix the inside of cars. He taught me how to find rare parts. It was like when I was a kid spending weekends at his shop. But now I was good at it. My parents tried to call me a few times, but their messages were always the same. They said I should stop this nonsense and come home. They said we could be a family again. They never said they were sorry for what they did. They always said I was breaking the family. They never said they betrayed me. I deleted their messages. I did not answer. But Tyler was not done. A few weeks after the wedding problem, Tyler came to my grandpa's place. He was very drunk. I was in the garage. I worked on a beautiful 1967 Mustang. A customer brought it in. My grandpa trusted me to work on it alone. He went to get parts. Tyler walked in. He smelled like alcohol. He said, you ruined my whole life. His words were not clear. He pointed at me. I said, Melissa is gone because of you, Tyler. Go home. You are drunk. He said, don't ignore me. He grabbed my shoulder. He said, you think you are so much better than me now. You work with Grandpa on his special cars. I pushed his hand off. I said, Tyler, really, leave before you do something stupid. But he was too drunk. He looked at the Mustang. Then he looked at me. I saw something bad on his face. He said, nice car. He picked up my keys from the table. He said, let's see how it drives. Before I could stop him, he got in the car. He started the engine. I ran after him, but he was already backing out of the garage. I said, Tyler, stop. That is a customer's car. He showed me his middle finger. He drove away fast. I called my grandpa. I was scared. Then I called the police. They found Tyler about an hour later. He hit a parked car. He scratched the Mustang badly. Then he left it in a mall parking lot. I called the police on him. I did not want to. But that car was worth more than $100,000 after it was fixed. The damage Tyler did cost thousands of dollars to fix. Also, my grandpa said it was time for Tyler to face real consequences for once in his life. My mom and dad begged me to drop the charges. They said Tyler was having a hard time. They said he did not mean to do it. But I was done with their excuses. Tyler got a DUI. He had to pay for the damage. He had to do 100 hours of work for free to help the community. About the $60,000, my parents paid it back. Not because they wanted to do the right thing for me, but because my grandpa was not joking about the will or the legal charges. My mom could have lost her teaching job if my grandpa had taken her to court for fraud. I used some of the money to finish school. I did not have to work myself to death. I used the rest of the money to start my own business fixing old cars. My grandpa helped me. Now, I do not talk to my parents or Tyler at all. I stopped talking to them completely after the Mustang problem. My business is doing well. Many people have old cars. They like someone who does good work. My grandpa is my partner now. He teaches me all the things he learned over many years. Sometimes I think about how things could have been different if my parents had been fair to me from the start. But then I remember something. If they had been fair, I might not be where I am now. I might not be doing what I love. I might not be with people who care about me. So I guess in a strange way, their bad parenting led me to something better. But that does not mean I will forgive them. Because that time my dad hit me still hurts.